Season's greeting geeks and nerds and Lazy Universe and White and Nudie. And it's finally time to jump back into the season's greetings, or should I say some season beatings, with one of my personal favorite Batman films. And I think that this was the first Batman film that I have seen right after the Christopher Reeve Superman film, which was sensational and phenomenal and still my favorite all-time DC live-action movie. But by far, I do believe that this was my first Batman movie that I was introduced to, and I really do enjoy this one. So you're just gonna hear me gushing all over this one. And in case you're wondering if there's gonna be a Funko Pop rating at the end of this, maybe. But I am going to be talking about one of my all-time favorites. I mean, this comes second to only Superman, and it's still one of my favorite Batman films ever, just in terms of its story and character development, just in general. But we're going to be taking a look at the sequel to Batman. This was a not planned sequel, but the sequel nonetheless to Batman. We're going to be talking about the fantastic and amazing Batman Returns. This will be my review, retrospective, whatever you want to call it, upon the awesome and amazing Batman Returns film. So if you haven't seen Batman Returns yet, but you're tuning into this review, just be forewarned, spoilers. Spoilers are definitely ahead in this review, so if you haven't seen Batman Returns yet, please go and do so, and then come back and watch this review. Otherwise, this movie might be spoiled for you, so you've been warned, spoilers. The history of the Batman films have always been kind of iffy, that they always are somewhat different. And the best place that you can go to about learning about the different Batman films, how they were supposed to be compared to how they turned out, is Nightwing 01. He definitely deserves it. I listened to both how the original Batman movie was supposed to turn out and also Batman Returns, and those are awesome videos in themselves, to go and listen to them, watch them, whatever have you. It's just a blast, learning about that stuff. So, and Batman Returns, as far as I know, the way that it turned out was not the original way it was supposed to be planned. There were supposed to be different villains in the movie and everything, so it's like, basically, they had to keep changing it because, that whole thing of like, oh, we're gonna have Harvey Dent be the villain, but Billy D. Williams couldn't return because he was busy with Star Wars and other films and such. And, they wanted to have Man-Bat in the films, and it's like, that would be interesting, but we never got it, so. But what we did get is a masterpiece film itself, Batman Returns, which came out in, I believe, either 1991 or 1992. It was a successful film a couple of years straight after the original, with Tim Burton back in the role, and of course Michael Keaton, which, as far as I'm concerned, people, this was the best performance of Michael Keaton's career, but we'll talk more about that as we get into the film. And I am just happy to be talking about this because I was like, I don't know if people would consider this a Christmas movie, and then I went, yeah, but fuck it, it's your own fucking YouTube channel, so you can talk about whatever the hell that you want, and if people don't like it, then there's the door over there. So, there you go. But with that all said and done, let's jump into the Christmas season and have ourselves a very Batman Christmas while punching crime in the face. Because this is my review and retrospective upon the amazing Batman Returns. And no, I'm not going to do it like I do the Christmas cartoons. That's different. This is just going to be like the usual retrospective review of me jumping back and forth, maybe using different clips from things, but mostly, I am just going to be sticking to the source material here. But with that all said and done, we'll jump into the Christmas season and have ourselves some festive hammers of justice. This is my review and retrospective of Batman Returns. I love how the opening of the film showed us how the Cobblepot family basically handled Oswald as a baby, but because he was born different with his disabilities and whatnot, they didn't want no part of him. Which makes sense when we later on see the Penguin, played by the great Danny DeVito, of why he's so deformed and why he hates humanity. It's because of actually what his parents did to him. Oswald sees himself as a monster, but that's only because his parents treated him like such, and Danny DeVito did a great job as exemplifying the more monster side rather than the man side. He's come to terms to accept what he is, and what he is nothing but that, a monster. He was actually born that way, and he actually sees himself becoming a monster later on. Even at times where he tried to redeem himself, he tried to get back his humanity, he knows that he can't because he's still deep down inside a bloodthirsty, blood-sucking monster.
Great speech, Oswald. Hello! My name is not Oswald. It's Penguin. I am not a human being. I am an animal.
And Danny DeVito is such a talented actor that when the transformation of Penguin happened, you believed it, and you believed it with all your heart and soul, just like he did. As yes, Penguin is supposed to be a polar opposite to that of Bruce Wayne, somebody who's more of a monstrous side that accepts his family's fortune for all it's worth. Also, another polar opposite that we have here on the table is one Selina Kyle, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, who is completely supposed to be the opposite to Bruce Wayne, basically Batman persona. Except whereas Batman was born the night that Bruce Wayne's parents were killed, Selina is a lot different than Batman. Basically, picture a Batman that lost his mind, and that's technically what you have here, as Selina Kyle had definitely and foremost, within this film, lost her goddamn mind. But if I can be honest with you guys, I hate Selina in this movie, and I really do not like her costume. I know it's supposed to be a representation of her mind, but still. Throughout the comic book world, you always hear people say that most of the villains are supposed to be mirrored representations of the superhero. That's very true for people like Spider-Man and sometimes the Flash, and also sometimes, yes, Superman. But it really comes mostly in hand when we have Batman. And in this film, Tim Burton and also the writers behind this was like, okay, we have Batman, but we want to try to make, because the Joker would not, I mean, God bless Jack Nicholson in his Joker role, but the Joker was not really a good mirrored version of Batman. He just was the most popular villain at the time. That's at least how I feel. But in this film, they really went, we need to have mirrored versions of Batman and his rogue gallery. And they did a terrific job in selecting both Danny DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer in the role and going, okay, we know what we want, we know what needs to be done, and so let's have it. Like I said, Penguin is definitely a one-for-one carbon copy of Batman. And Michelle Pfeiffer is definitely a carbon copy of Batman, since Selina Kyle died the night that Max Shreck pushed her out the window, with nothing against Max Shreck and nothing against the great Christopher Walken. It's just that I don't see Max Shreck as really a villain. Like, yeah, he basically is like the Lex Luthor to Bruce Wayne, but he's just a corrupt businessman, and Lex Luthor is better at this than he is. Nothing against Christopher Walken. It's just like, can we get Clancy Brown? Just shave him bald. Be a lot better. No? Yeah? Okay. Well, I tried. But like I said before, this is the best acting of Michael Keaton's career just in this movie itself, is because I really do feel like, yeah, in the first movie he did an awesome job. And mostly he ad-libbed a bunch of things, like when he said, I'm Batman. He wasn't supposed to say that, but Tim Burton was like, actually, that sounds more awesome. We'll keep Mr. Keaton with what Mr. Keaton ad-libbed here, even though that was never in part of the script. Again, if you want to hear more of that, Nightwing 01, go and watch his videos upon the Batman movies. But, why don't we talk a little bit more about the villains, about how their team up definitely worked, because it is, again, like Batman and Bruce Wayne finally coming together yet again, which was an awesome kind of portrayal, and you definitely saw that happen when the two villains for the first time met face to face. Of course, it was more seduction than anything else, but unfortunately the two of them saw eye to eye and was like, we want to kill the Batman, and the best way to do so is working together. Which is very similar to Batman 66 or Batman the Animated Series. No, at first they don't see eye to eye until they were like, yeah, but we do need one another to kill the Bat. Which Michael Keaton's role in this was even more perfect than that of the original film, as I really feel that Michael Keaton did summon up the best Batman he could. Now recall, this is after the events of the first movie where technically Batman wanted to give up and he wanted no more of his crime fighting life, but yet he had to keep it to keep Gotham safe. The night his parents died, he vowed that nobody else would ever go through what he went through, and that's what he's trying to do in this film, is keep his promise. But at the same time, he wants to be happy. He finally found happiness in Selina Kyle, and he wants to keep her around in order to basically, be happy. He finally had somebody that basically he could see himself with. He finally had a woman that he could call his own. He finally had a home. But unfortunately, his home was destroyed when they soon found out each other's identity and realized that they can't be happy, which means Bruce Wayne can never be happy. He soon realized this as soon as Batman was born, that there was no more happiness. There was no more family. My life had been destroyed thanks to crime. And the villains were really good at doing that, making sure to keep both Batman and Bruce Wayne preoccupied both at the same time, so Bruce could never sacrifice Batman. Batman will always be Gotham's protector, no matter what happens, and Bruce finally had to accept that by sacrificing everything in his life up to this point that made him happy and just become the crime fighter that the entire world knows him as. He had to just summon back the Batman that he lost after the first movie. The more that I watched this movie, the more I compared it to the awesome and animated Spectacular, which is still my favorite Batman film of all time, Mask of the Phantasm. And it's not hard to compare Batman Returns to Mask of the Phantasm, as they're almost very perfectly aligned with each other. Batman wanted to sacrifice, Batman or himself so Bruce Wayne could find happiness, but all at the same time, Bruce Wayne can't find happiness because he knows that Gotham City will always be put in harm's way. It's a great example of the hero has to put aside his own selfish needs and desires in order to save the city that he loves. And again, keeping the promise to his parents that, yeah, my parent died for nothing. My parents have died the night that, Joe Chill killed them in cold blood and Batman was born. And that's when he made the vow to his parents that this would never happen again. But then when he met Selina and he finally had found happiness after Vicky Vale broke his heart. Ah, Vicky, why? You can just imagine him crying in the shower going, oh, Vicky, why did you leave me? But aside from that, though, it still is a one-for-one great mirror for Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Yes, Mask of the Phantasm is better, but if you can really sit down and watch both films back to back, you can see how very similar that they are. How Catwoman is basically the Phantasm, Andrea Beaumont, and how Penguin and Joker almost work very identically to one another. It's a beautiful example of the film. But yet, in Batman Returns, compared to Mask of the Phantasm, where they experimented more with Andrea Beaumont, here they experiment with both of them, and it's such a delight. Danny DeVito is my favorite Penguin of all time, and Michelle Pfeiffer did a great job, but she's not my favorite Catwoman. Sorry. Oh, I can hear a bunch of people outside my window right now, like the Warriors, going, "Yay, the universe!" It's the season to be jolly. I'm in for a beating. I can just see a bunch of them coming after me and going, you, come here. But without further ado, I really do recommend Batman Returns. It is just too awesome of a film to be ignored, truthfully. The acting is superb. The music by Danny Elfman, it sells the film. Like, when you hire Danny Elfman, you let the man work. You don't tell him what you need done. You let him work, because that's where he does what he does best, is that you don't tell him where to come in. He just does it because he's fucking Danny Elfman, for God's sake. But Michael Keaton, I feel, gave the best Batman performance of his career, and all the actors do a wonderful job in this. But yet, I don't like the origin for Catwoman in this film, truthfully. But I love the origin for the Penguin, really setting him up as a perfect mirror of Bruce Wayne. It was wonderful. This film is phenomenal, fantastic, and it really is a great film to watch. No, I'm not going to give it a Funko Pop rating. I think that this video ran on for a lot longer than I was intending. But still, it's definitely recommended. If I had to give it a Funko Pop rating, it would definitely get an Inuyasha because every time I watch this movie, it just blows me away. But please do yourself a favor this Christmas season and give Batman Returns a watch. If you're looking for a great and amazing superhero film to watch, I can recommend none other than Batman Returns. It's fun, it's amazing, it's really great acted and great directed, and again, the music by Danny Elfman is just the chef's kiss on top of an already delicious meal. So do yourself a favor and check out Batman Returns for this Christmas season. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you know notified every single time I make an upload. I've been reading your votes. I want you to keep eking on, and please do check out Batman Returns when you can. It is nothing but a pure awesome film and a great Christmas movie. As far as a lot of other YouTubers, not just myself, agree that this is a Christmas masterpiece. So check it out this holiday season if you haven't already. And again, if you want to support the channel, the best way to do so is by liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Hit that bell icon so you're notified every single time I make an upload. And you can also follow me at Twitter with the link in the description down below where you can find me. And as always, thank you so much for watching and keep it on. I believe in the bush, I bright and nerdy. Next time it will be pretty close to Christmas. And there's some older videos that I wanted to go back to because I don't feel very happy with the way that they turned out. And this is an example of one of those videos. So come back next time as I'm giving everybody an early Christmas present and an early Christmas treat for my final video of December before Christmas and before my Christmas special. So come back next time as I'm going to revisit and review again, more kind of properly, as I'm going to be reviewing a Jim Henson Christmas classic with Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.